Welcome, Superhuman. I'm bringing you another live, raw, and real conversation about another topic, which is overwhelm. And the impromptu couple of episodes, so the last time was about fear of failure and success, and then this one being about overwhelm, are both topics that I feel have been happening and being experienced in the collective. So I feel like these conversations just need to be had, and it's an opportunity for us to reflect and think about why and what's going on in our own minds, and maybe some other things that I might raise that you were unaware of that then may spark you to want to look into them further. So it has basically been a lot of my clients or people that I've come into contact with have all been feeling overwhelmed, and myself included. And part of this reason has been that exactly a month ago today of this recording, we had solstice. Now, depending on which part of the world you're from, it was winter solstice for us and summer solstice for other places in the world. And these energies were can only be explained to feel like a whirlwind, right? Overwhelming as such. So when we have this whirlwind of energies, it can leave us feeling quite, just bombarded with a lot of thoughts and not really sure what to do with that. So I feel like this has been a lot of the what people have been experiencing. And just prior to that solstice, actually, there was quite a significant elevation in the Schumann resonance. And that particular first instance of that occurring, I actually slept for 12 hours that night. And so I was unaware until it was brought to my attention that actually happened, because that's unusual for me, like to sleep for that long. I can't tell you the last time I've slept for that long. So that was really interesting occurrence. And there was another one on the 12th of July where I also slept for like 10 hours that time. So our bodies are like electrical systems. So when these significant changes happen, there's that, and then the expansion and ley lines and things like that. So our energy systems need to recalibrate and also, adjust to the upgrades, so to speak. And so hence for me, it was sleep. But for other people, it could be needing to ground or go out in nature. Or if you reflect back now on the last month and thinking about all these thoughts and experiences you've been going through, any unusual behaviors or activities that you've been craving or feeling drawn to, it's a time now to think about, oh yeah, I did actually, feel a great pull to nature. I went to the beach that one time, and maybe that had something to do with it. So that was around the 21st. Solstice was anyway. And then last week again, I literally laid awake in bed at about 2:30 a.m. where this episode was downloaded into me for like 2 hours. Not that this will be 2 hours, it won't be, but the contents of what I was feeling called to speak about. And so I have got some notes in front of me, because eventually I did write some notes down as to what was coming through at 2:30 a.m., which is a little bit annoying. I don't like my sleep being interrupted, but when there's a good reason, I'm open and I'm okay with it. So solstice energies were quite rattling. So that's what I remember. It was quite like rattling in my system. And again, it's because of our electrical systems. Our nervous systems is our basically our nervous system running on overdrive. All right. So, and some people still experiencing this because you haven't quite processed these quote upgrades that have occurred. And a lot of what this has been bringing about for people is change. And the things that are challenging us are ultimately trying to teach us or show us something that is associated with our soul parts, our callings in life. And if you're in alignment with that, and even if you are, or you're not, it's a time to be shaken to discover what potentially you are meant to be doing or moving towards. So what's no longer in resonance in your life? What boundaries do we need to put in place? Where am I still in victim mentality? What traumas am I yet to heal in myself? And there's a lot of emphasis on shepherding ourselves to where we are destined to go and towards our higher selves. Now, let's go back to shepherding ourselves for a second, because I mean, I have had many mentors, and, you know, when you're feeling overwhelmed or like you need to seek information, we seek this from an outer being, from someone we feel will have the answers. But at the moment, there is an emphasis on us shepherding ourselves towards where we need to be. It's like our higher being is requesting of us to embark on what we already know to be true inside ourselves, because ultimately we do have everything we need within us. And a lot of, let's just say, evolution is a process of remembering, you know, who we are at our core. And I feel like our superhumans are being summoned. So this can lead us to feel overwhelmed. All right. It's that whirlwind. It's that overwhelming feeling that of unsettled, you know, like I've had a lot of people say that, you know, I don't feel like I'm where I should be. I don't want to be doing this 9 to 5 anymore. You know, I recently had someone say that they'd been inspired to change careers completely, you know, recently. And so there's a lot of shifts and changes happening. And even though it can make you feel fearful, like last episode, fear, it can also be the push we need, you know. Otherwise, sometimes we just get too comfortable in just doing the monotonous and just continuing on that path. Whereas now we're actually really being pulled towards something more meaningful. So then this caused me to have a look at the meaning of overwhelm. And so the meaning of overwhelm means to feel buried or drowning beneath a huge mass of something. How about thoughts? Could that feel heavy? Absolutely. You know, thoughts alone can drown us. You know, expectations can drown us. The fear of the unknown, on what's, if I do make this change in career, or if I do make this, then what will happen? Or will I be okay? In short, absolutely you will be okay. We are exactly where we need to be right now in this moment. And so it's come to a point now where a lot of you can no longer ignore how unsettled you feel. And this can stir up a lot of emotions. And we tend to not know how to handle a rush of emotions. So this can lead us to behaviors such as escapism, you know, trying to ignore, move forward, but ignoring what's going on within. Well, this may have worked in the past, you know, and something like I've self-sabotaged myself when I feel like I've needed to make a change. And maybe you have too. It's like where you feel like, yes, okay, I know I need to do this. And then you actually find upon reflection that you've sabotaged that growth within yourself for some fear of something. But we can't now. Like we literally cannot, because we're being taught now, we're being schooled, and everything that's happening to us is a lesson at the moment. And so if you pay attention to the lesson that is being presented to you, you will reap the reward. If you ignore it, you'll spin right back. It's like putting the wrong GPS in. It's like it'll take you around the block and then you'll be presented with the same lesson again, maybe just slightly different. So it's time to stare it in the face, is what's coming through. And yeah, that's basically, I'm just looking at my notes, but so look at the overwhelm as fueling us. It's driving us to embark on the journey to clarity, essentially. And you already know deep down what you need to do. You're just looking for someone to give you permission. So let your awareness grant you the permission to unmask your potential. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, personally, I journal. I journal daily anyway, and especially when my mind feels full. It's definitely something I recommend to my clients when they come and they feel like I can just feel that their brains are a clouded mess. So I normally would suggest journaling, but let's take it a little step further this time. So I recommend when you have a chance to not just journal, but intentionally try to ground yourself first. So center yourself, ground yourself, even if you have to, do it you can do it. You don't have to stand barefoot on the grass or anything like that, although that does help. But you just need to be intentional and center yourself in that present moment. And if you feel called to take it even a step further, I'd invite you to, I guess, call upon your guides, your angels, God, whatever your beliefs are, just a higher power. Yes. I think even the greatest scientists in the world, believe that there is a higher power. So call upon the highest powers to be, to assist you in finding clarity and finding some resolution within your own mind. So upon that piece of paper, you can just simply write, why am I feeling overwhelmed? And you may also write, what can I do to ease these feelings and come to a solution? And then just write, pen to paper, free flow with no judgment of your handwriting, grammar, or context, and see what comes through. In psychic mediumship practice, we call this automatic writing. And honestly, it's amazing how cathartic something simple as pen to paper can leave us feeling. That's why I love it so much. I mean, I pen to paper notes on front of me for this episode. So then once you finished writing, so just free flow, write as much as you can want to or desire, and then read it back. And then most of the time, you will feel some sort of resolution or having some clear-mindedness on what you need to do, what you've been avoiding, or how to resolve your angst. And by no means do I try to simplify the overwhelm. It's not as simple as just putting pen to paper, but sometimes it is. Or sometimes it's just a great start. It's a good platform for venturing towards your clarity. So if this can be a helpful exercise for you, I hope you embark on it this weekend or when you have some time. So, and also, as much as we're being urged to shepherd ourselves, it doesn't mean that others are not part of our journeys either. But we must determine who becomes part of our journeys. Just like the whole DC Marvel superhero universe have their friends and allies, so do you. So this has been for clarity of mind. This exercise, these ideas, these things that I'm trying to spark your thought process in thinking about for yourself. And exercises such as that can help with clarity of the mind. Now, when it comes to clarity or cleansing, clearing of the soul aspects, this is by diminishing the disruptions in the body, by what we feed it. All right. So in a couple of weeks, I do want to share these tactics with you throughout I'm going to host a 5-day challenge where I'll teach a lot about the principles of nutrition and literally how to ditch the diets. Just let's not overcomplicate things anymore, overthink, and bring it back to our body's needs, and also how to elevate ourselves on a nutritional level to begin with. That's also physical, but then that's the exercise component as well. So I'll talk about a lot of these different things that will help amplify you from a physical perspective. So that's the body. And so, yeah, so that was the body, not the soul, but also food for the soul. You know what I mean? Now, on a additional soul level, the overwhelm, this disruption in our internal frequencies, aka our electrical systems, aka our chakra systems, it can throw us all out of whack. All right. So this is where sound frequency can help align and heal. And it's a very, very powerful tool to implement and to bring into your life, which is why I would highly recommend either just jumping onto YouTube or anywhere really. You can find some 528 hertz or 432 hertz frequency music and just lay and bathe in it comfortably and just immerse yourself in the sounds. Just do it. Let me know how that feels, because it's pretty amazing if you haven't experienced already. You can find somewhere local. They've been popping up a lot more as of late, I've noticed. So that's really great to see. I've also been hosting them once a month myself, and they've just been absolutely amazing experiences for whatever seems to come through for that month. It's just been absolutely incredible experience for all of us involved. I may actually start recording some of these and sharing them as well, as offering perhaps a remote attendance option. But the main message I want to convey today is that you're not drowning. You are being presented an opportunity, a gift to heal, to elevate yourself to your heart's calling. The question is, will you answer the call? This is where mission starts to come to mind. You know, what's my purpose? What's my mission? You just need to seek within. What is your heart's calling for you to do that you may have been suppressing? Because now is the time. We can't suppress anymore. There's no need to hold yourself back, to care what other people think. This is the time to just follow through on what your heart desires, because life, we don't know what life brings. But you just have to follow your instincts. This is exactly why I'm doing this live. It's not my comfort zone to hit record, especially with video and audio and not have the option to edit. But you got to do the uncomfortable, because if that's what your instincts and your intuition is telling you to do, and I'll do a whole nother episode about that, because that's been amplifying for me for quite some time. Like, it's next level. And I want to be able to share that with you guys as well. Listen to your inner self and what is coming through. That's it. That's what you need to do. And so an exercise, like I mentioned before, is super powerful if you really commit to it. Like, just wholeheartedly. Don't, try to, oh, this is silly or whatever. Like, just take 5 minutes, and, that's all it really takes, just to brain dump essentially what's going on in your mind. But, a prompt question is very helpful. And sometimes even before you go to sleep, you can ask a question, why am I feeling overwhelmed? And go to sleep. And then in the morning, sometimes the clarity of that question, that the answer will come through as well. So, and there's a lot of other reasons, dreams, again, maybe that's a future episode I'll talk about. But essentially, overwhelm has been the consensus of a lot of us have been feeling, and with good reason. So don't be afraid of it. Don't fear. The fear is fuel for the fire that is yet to shine, that is yet to burn brightly. And that's your internal heart's desire. It's time. No more suppression. No more ignoring. No more putting it off. Time to figure out what you need to do and do it. Please, from you. And yeah, I think I did hear a quote the other day that was, let me see if I can remember it. I'm definitely going to be paraphrasing it, but someone said this in a religious context, but please be open-minded. He was saying that he feels like his ideas are a gift from God, and he's afraid to not accept the idea in fear that God will feel like he's not up for the test and give it to someone else, And I thought that was a really interesting way of putting it. You know, we hear about FOMO, and we hear about these, like if you're an entrepreneur or you're running your own business, we get ideas all the time. And they're great, but we don't always act on them. So when you were saying that, I felt like, if I don't act on it, he's going to give it to somebody else, which is generally the case, because you're not the only one to generally get like, I've heard this before, God giving the idea to many. And it's like when planes were invented, you know, the Wright brothers weren't the only ones trying to create a plane that flew. There were many others. So it's, if you get the call, you've got to answer. So that's what I wanted to finish off with today. And I'm pretty sure that's everything that I'd written down, because my notes are a little bit messy. Inquisition is our inner birthright, and remembrance is our reward. I did write that down also. So as always, I hope that this has given you some answers, or at least helped arouse some questions that are helpful in coming up with the answers, because we're not here to be told what to do. We are here to now shepherd ourselves to our next level, to our next pastures be. So please remember to subscribe, like, and follow for future downloads. I'm really just going to free flow with these now, because I like this freestyle in the moment. Please let me know if you like it too. I've been getting good feedback so far. I just want to keep it real with what I feel like people are going through in real time, instead of trying to pre-record now and bring it out in a month's time. It's no longer as relevant, although overwhelm springs up again time to time. So I'm just going to keep going like this, but I will actually start doing some guest ones again. I really want to just keep this organic and real talk with Riri. So as always, strengthen your mind, bodies, and soul, superhuman, and stay amazing.